Hey everyone, welcome to Around the Wicket. This is the podcast where me and Vivin, and usually Om, again, he's not here today. He'll be back next week. We talk about whatever's going on in the world of Indian cricket. And this is our fifth episode on the Tata IPL 2021 or 2022 season. And there's a lot to talk about. It's been an interesting week. Uh, let's just get straight to it. Make sure to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on our podcast make sure to check out our YouTube and vice versa. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, everything. So make sure to check that all out through Anchor.
Yeah,
Anyway, let's start. We'll start with your favorite team, CSK, and I guess the big talking point is MS Dhoni. I mean, a cup. That was their second most recent game, and four of one ball needed, and of course Dhoni does it in their match against MI. You're the CSK fan here, so I'm going to let you talk about it.
yeah. Wait. Also, are we in week 4 or week 5? Aren't we in week 4?
Oh, we are in week 4. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did I say week 5? My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Either way, we're in week 4. Yeah. So I'm still conflicted on MST. I mean, he's obviously far better this season than he was last season and the 60 of. First of all, not enough credit is given to Pretorius. Pretorius had hit Jasprit Bumrah for some good runs. And MSD, yeah, he hit 16 or 4, but that was against Jaydev Unadkat, which I'm not minimizing it, but it's Jaydev Unadkat. So Pretorius also did have a very important role to play. Obviously, we'll talk about the change as well. I mean, first of all, they dropped Moeen for Santner, which is I
Moin's injured now.
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they dropped Moeen and they had to pick Santner. Yeah, sure. But we talked about it in the last week's episode. I didn't want that to happen. Moeen, a lot of people are fine with Moeen getting dropped for whatever reason. I know it's because he's injured, but people are fine with him getting dropped. I didn't want that to happen because I know he hasn't been performing well, but he at number 3 is when he performs, not necessarily number 3, can be even number 4, but when he performs, he can add a lot to the CSK's batting lineup, and he's incredibly he's actually a pretty aggressive batsman when he needs to be, and he can sort of we saw it a few times over the past couple of seasons where when the top order is robust, Moeen has the ability to just come in and absolutely smash them to bits, which is awesome to see. Uh, so he was dropped for Santner. I mean, Santner's not bad. He bowled quite well. Didn't do much with the bat. And another change was that they dropped Jordan expectedly and brought in Dwayne Pretorius. Brought him back to the side. He should have never been gone in the first place, but they brought him back in place of Jordan. And yeah, that MSD innings was really interesting. The 4 to win of one. I think Unatkat, that ball was, I think, better than his other balls. He clearly had a plan. His ball was to attack
Yeah,
Kohli.
in out of those four balls, there was only one bad ball which he actually bowled, which was the half volley which Dhoni hit for six. But the other three balls and even the other two balls in that over, they were all good balls. And even the last ball, he nailed that Yorker. But
Exactly.
Dhoni, he was back in this crease and like he's the best player there is to like dig out Yorkers, and he obviously
Exactly.
put that away.
Yeah, he was able to hit it through the square leg region um, for four. So that was really good from Dhoni. Obviously, we know him as the finisher, keeping calm under pressure as always. Uh, so that was awesome. And then obviously we had another fairly big CSK game, uh, which was yesterday night. Yesterday night. I mean that doesn't mean anything to you guys, but it was CSK
Punjab and CSK.
unfortunately loses to Punjab, and it was quite it was close. At some point, CSK should have won it. We needed like 40,
We should
40.
have won it.
We should have
I
won it,
mean,
of
you
course.
you would have lost by a lot more if Raidu didn't carry
That's
you
true.
that far.
Raidu obviously
Um,
like 79 of 38, I believe. Very good.
yeah, he was the only batsman uh, and Shikhar Dhawan to an extent who actually looked like they could bat on that pitch. All the batsmen were finding it very tough.
Yeah, it
Obviously,
was a tough
partially
wicket
did some great death bowling, but
like you
we'll
can
talk to
tell
that.
how
Talk about that.
how yeah, you can tell how hard it was of a wicket to bat on, um, considering that uh, Punjab, after I believe like 16, 17 overs, had only lost one wicket after like 15 overs, and they were only at like oh sorry, after like 17, 18 overs, and they were only like one wicket down. They only lost like second and third wicket um, at the very end of and this thing, and they were only able to even with some six hitting at the end off of Dwayne Pretorius, they were only able to get to about 170, late 170s and 180. So yeah, I would say it was a pretty difficult wicket to bat on. Obviously, great job for Amity Raidu, but CSK should have won that. Like I believe it was less than 50 runs required of the last four over, and CSK weren't able to pull through. The second last over was very good, very 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 well bowled.
Hmm.
It was like it gave less than like I think 7 8 runs less than that, and it
7 runs.
yeah it put CSK in a pretty hard spot. 26 or six, no matter who the bowler, who the batsman, you haven't
27.
27.
Hmm.
Okay, whatever. No matter who the bowler, who the batsman, you have uh, undue amounts of pressure on you, and yeah, Dhoni obviously dispatches the first for six, uh, and then wasn't able to continue for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's been the story for CSK. I mean, they haven't really gone over that, gone over, gone over the finish line in most of their games,
yeah,
and it's been a disappointing show from the four-time champions. Um, Now, last night's game was obviously low on run scoring, but let's talk about another team and their most recent match was a huge scoring encounter. Delhi, they played Rajasthan, and why don't we just get straight into it? So that last over, 36 needed off six balls. Rovman Powell on the crease,
yeah,
he hits three sixes. The third one, a waist high delivery. He's calling for a no ball. All the dugout people of Delhi are calling for a no ball. Umpire doesn't give it a no ball, and as we know now from the IPL rules, an umpire can't check for a waist height no ball um, unless it's a wicket. So the third umpire can't check that. The umpire on field has to make a decision, and he made the decision. Now that rule is stupid and should be changed. You should be allowed to refer no balls and wides, as I've said before on this podcast. But anyway, that's what happened. And then there was a lot of drama. Rishabh Pant sent Praveen Amre uh, onto the field, one of the Delhi Capitals assistant coaches. Um, he called the players back. He was telling Kuldeep to come back, but then Yuzvendra stopped him and told him to go back uh, uh, at his crease. So a kulcha moment right there. But there was a lot of drama, and I don't think that was good for many reasons. One, because you have to deal with the umpire's call, even if I personally did believe that was wrong. And two, it not only in terms of a Delhi point of view, it not only disrupted Powell's flow, it also allowed Obed McCoy, the bowler, time to regroup and time to think. Because after you've just been hit for three sixes, your mind is really jumbled. You need to go back to your run up and bowl straight again. But he had time to regroup, and so that's why I think that stunt by punt was that rhymes stunt by punt. But I don't think that was the best mode of action
yeah.
for
I
his
mean,
team.
like I understand why he did it. I don't understand what he did. Uh, in the sense that the motivation was obvious. I think that was a no ball as well. But first of all, it wasn't like a travesty that it wasn't given. It was close, and that too
Yeah.
that too in real time, especially.
No,
It's
but like in the heat of the moment, obviously your game depends on it.
no, yeah,
Uh,
that exactly.
yeah.
That's why I understand that he was upset. But obviously, sending him to I think his whole match fee got taken away from him
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
so yeah, he suffered some consequence. But yeah, it would have been incredible to see where that over went, if that didn't happen. More than anything, would Obed McCoy have been the the second West Indian bowler to get uh, to get absolutely slaughtered uh, in the last over, along with our boy Odian Smith. We'll never know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and obviously that's overshadowed a lot of issues that Delhi Capitals have had. Um, they had a few COVID casualties. Their physio Patrick Farah, who used to be the physio for the Indian team, he's out. A few family members of the teammates are out. Coach Ricky
Ayo,
Ponting.
hold on. He didn't mean casualties means deaths, bro.
Yes, I know. Okay, fine. COVID. Yeah, COVID casualties. I'm gonna stick to that
It's
term.
not a, it's not a
Um,
casualty. It's COVID casual.
COVID casualty.
Okay,
They've
okay.
been impacted by COVID. Okay, fine.
That's not what a COVID casualty
Okay,
means.
fine.
Like
A
a death
COVID
in
lad. A
hospital.
COVID lad.
A
Okay, so a
COVID
few
case.
COVID lads.
A COVID
Okay,
case.
fine. Yeah, fine. They had a few COVID cases in the camp.
They
A
didn't
few
all die
family
of
members.
COVID, guys. Don't
Yeah,
let
yeah. Ricky Ponting was in isolation. Tim Seifert and Mitch Marsh had COVID. Hopefully they get better soon. I think Mitch Marsh was hospitalized. The rest are just in their rooms, but Marsh's was more serious, I think. So hopefully gets better. But they had some COVID issues, and also in that match, Pant actually found some form. He was striking it at around 200, got a quick 40. So that looks good for Kuldeep. I mean for Delhi. But yeah, Kuldeep. In the match before that against KKR, Kuldeep. Sorry, was that the? No, I think we already talked about the match versus KKR, right?
What are you talking about?
When was RR versus KKR?
RRKKR we didn't talk about last week.
Yeah, so that was last Monday. Yeah, so we didn't talk about it. Yeah, right. Another ex KKR. So no wait, RR was no wait DC versus KKR. No,
DC no
Kuldeep
RR
is
versus KKR I think was the day after we filmed.
yeah, yeah. When was DC versus KKR?
DC versus KKR we talked about. Wait, DC versus KKR.
Let us check the schedule. DC versus KKR was yeah. So we covered DC versus KKR. Good, but anyway, Kuldeep. Kuldeep's a great bowler again. He just takes a lot of wickets,
Mm-hmm.
and it's good to see him actually play games because he's not played in the IPL for a few years now, courtesy of the KKR management. But it's good to see him getting the backing and like having the confidence, and he's bowling well. That's another good sign for DC, and we'll end on DC with a positive note after talking about them that incident with RR. But
Also, oh, hold
yeah,
on. Oh, yeah, okay. We can move into RR. I was gonna, because we're talking about
yeah,
them.
yeah. Let's move straight
I
into
was just gonna
RR.
say, like last
Yeah,
week,
yeah, yeah.
you
So,
said
yeah.
the best wrestler.
Even this is getting overshadowed a bit
Yeah,
because of that final incident. But Butler scored another 100, so that's three this season, five in the last like 20 innings or something, four in the past like 12 innings or something.
he's got three
He's
in 7 games.
yeah, 3 in 7 games.
He could
He's
very
been
well,
absolutely
dude. He could
insane.
score like 800 runs this season, bro.
Yeah,
Like a
he's
thousand
he's
runs this season.
he's batting on a different planet right now. Easily the best T20 batsman in the world. We said this on the podcast last week that he was the best T20 batsman right now before he scored another 100. So like that just nails down.
This makes him the
Uh,
ultra best
yeah,
batsman.
yeah, yeah,
Back then he was just
and yeah, it's insane. And I'll be interested to see how RR performs without Butler scoring because till now he scored every game. Um, the one game he hasn't scored, which was around 35 or something, he scored. Uh, I'm pretty sure they lost that game. Uh, so yeah, and their batting is a little short because you got to remember Ashwin bats at 7 for them, so their batting is a little short. So if Butler doesn't fire, it'll be interesting to see how they do.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
still like their middle order, but and the thing is, despite RR having lost a couple games in the middle there, now when you look at their team, they still look like a their middle order has isn't really performing, but it's still looking solid and it has like a lot of potential as we've talked about. Like people like
yeah,
when we ask,
definitely. And yeah, and even in the game against Delhi, Who won it for them? It was the spin twins again, Ashwin and Chahal. Those two have just been insanely good. Especially Chahal, he's the purple cap holder now by a fair distance. I think 3 or 4 wickets after getting uh, snubbed for the T20 World Cup squad back in November. He's been in some different form, and it's good to see Kulcha doing well.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, yeah, I agree. It's good to see Kulcha doing well. We already talked about how Chahal just pushed Kuldeep's head back to his crease when the whole DCRR thing was happening. So that was fun to watch. And yeah, as you said, both of them have something to prove after being snubbed off late. Uh, Kuldeep for his entire professional career for the past few years, and Chahal from the T20 World Cup, which we talked about his last IPL season as well, which was obviously a later IPL season than normal. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to SRH. Okay, so SRH, uh, before the season, we all three of us, I think, said that they would be one of the worst teams,
The
and then
worst
after
team,
the first
actually, I think.
episode, we reiterated that because they lost their first 2 games,
Yeah.
and now they've won 5 in a row. Um, they've also lost the least wickets in this IPL after getting demolished in terms of wickets in their first 2 games, and they are doing really well. In batting, Abhishek Sharma is performing, who I've backed. Rahul Tripathi is performing, who I've backed, and then you have the solidity of Aiden Markram,
Mhm.
who's been doing really well in T20s in the middle order,
Yeah.
and Nicholas Pooran, who just had a fantastic series against us back in February. So their batting is looking quite solid. Their middle order hasn't been tested much, and by that I mean like either Jitesh, no, sorry, not Jitesh, but whoever they got in for Abdul Samad. Those guys haven't been tested too much, but right now their only weakness looks like it's Kane Williamson. And I wanted to ask this question to you. Kane Williamson been opening, but his strike rate has been just around 100 in the power play, and his average has been 16 in the power play. Do you think he should be opening? Or do you think they should give that position to like either a Markram or a Tripathi who are in great form and can just take advantage of that power play where everyone's inside the circle?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing everyone where they are, putting Williamson one down and bringing Tripathi to open. I think uh, leave the rest of it as it is. We bring in Tripathi to open with Abhishek Sharma obviously, and then one down, you have one down you can play Williamson, and two down you can play like some Aiden Markram. And the thing is, usually when you've asked me this question for the past two these things, like taking a big player, and should we change anything with him? And my response every time except this has been no, because his potential is far greater than what even other people I would expect to do. For example, Moeen, I didn't want to drop him to bring Santner in because Moeen, when he's good, is better than I think Santner can be. However, Tripathi, we know he can open. We know he's a very good opener. We know he's in great form. You have him in the team. You have to switch around the order a bit. Williamson's not doing much. This will be an opportunity for him to try to play in a different position, a position which obviously it's not like an unfamiliar position. He's played one down before a lot, and so yeah, I think bringing Tripathi or Markram's also fine, but I guess I'd like to see Tripathi up front with Abhishek Sharma and Williamson drop to the 1D spot.
Yeah, I mean that's a change that they can make, and it'll probably help them
Yeah,
because everyone is in form except Williamson, and it's best to use that power play effectively. Another thing that's working for SRH a lot is their four-man pace attack. So you have Umran Malik bowling those high speeds. You have Bhuvi swinging it early and nailing those Yorkers in the end. You have Marco Janssen making a big impact in the power play, as we saw against RCB, 3 wickets in the first over. Uh, and you have Nattu, who's the second who's second place in the purple cap leaderboard, and he's got 15 wickets. He's been in great form, nailing Yorkers, getting wickets up top, in the middle, and in the death. Um, and he's just been really good. He's had injury troubles after he came back from the GABA, and this is his first extended run after that, and he's been performing really well. He's obviously been on a tour to Australia before he made his debut. He performed really well in the ODIs and in the T20s. Even though Hardik Pandya got Player of the Series, uh, I felt that Nattu should have gotten it, and so did Hardik, because Hardik actually gave the award to Nattu. Do you think Nattu should go to Australia? He also adds a left arm option, which we don't have many Indians who can do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot to unpack. First, like obviously the SRH bowling with the, we'll get into it later, but the tasteful demolition of RCB. Oh, how I would love for Om to be on this podcast, not just vibing, because that was a joy to watch. And yeah, Nattu didn't he didn't get he obviously Janssen took like the three most, I would say, upfront important wickets, the most important wickets of RCB. He got Faf, Kohli, and Maxi, I believe, all three. No, I don't think he got Maxi, and I'm not sure. He got Faf and Kohli definitely.
Who?
I think he no, he
Uh,
got Faf, Kohli, and
Jansen,
yeah, Janssen. He got Faf,
Anuj, yeah,
right.
Anuj,
And
yeah.
Nattu took Hasaranga, who is like RCB's last hope, who would like come in and try to swing to the fences. So Nattu got Hasaranga, and he obviously, yeah, he took three wickets. Overall, great showing. And yeah, should not to go to Australia. I think definitely, even if he hasn't been a purple cap level contender as he has been, even if he hasn't been as good so far in the IPL, just based on what he's done, I think he should go to Australia based on how well he played last time in Australia. And I think it's really interesting. We should try to. Nattu is the next bowler, the next Indian bowler. I feel like the last time we had someone who I was this excited about in Indian bowling was with Bumrah, and like Bumrah's, he's still a thing, but I'm a lot more excited about Nattu now. He's a young left arm fast bowler.
He's older than Bumrah. He's 31.
Nah, no.
Yeah,
You're
he's
joking.
31. He's
Nattu
31.
is 31.
Yeah, he's older than Bumrah. He's older than uh, a lot of the quicks.
What? No, wait. I have to look this up. Hold on. T Natarajan. He's 30. What? What? How is that possible?
Yeah, it is
Wow.
true.
He looks 23, bro.
Does he? He's like Shami's age.
Oh my days. Okay. Uh, my world has been shaken up. But either way, yeah. He should
He's
go.
only he's only like he's only like 1.5 years younger than Ishant Sharma.
Oh my days. That's insane. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
the Ishant Sharma who's been in with the Indian team for 15 years.
Yeah, if you asked me to
Just
guess,
just 1 year younger than him.
I would have 100% guessed he's like 24. Oh my days. Okay. How is that possible? What? Okay. Either way, what was I talking about? I actually don't remember. Okay, he should go to he should go to Australia. Right, and he's also a fantastic, obviously, death bowler specialist as well. He can execute Yorkers. He can
And him
execute
and Bumrah would make an excellent death bowling
excellent
pair.
team. Exactly, he can
And yeah,
execute.
and if you add like Harshal to the mix, or even Bhuvi, all
Yeah,
four of them are great death bowlers.
yeah. You have a very strong side. So yeah, I definitely put Nattu, 31-year-old
Yeah,
Nattu.
so SRH look a strong unit. Their paces have been performing. Once Washi comes in, the spin and batting improves. Everyone except Williamson's doing well. Just a lower middle order needs to be tested, but otherwise everything looks pretty good for them. They're sailing smoothly.
Yeah,
Um, a team that's definitely not sailing smoothly. Punjab. They've had ups and downs recently, and up. but I don't know if you can count that too much of an up as it was against CSK. But yeah, ups and downs. They've started really well with their aggressive approach, but we've seen them go to like 118 all out. And recently, against CSK, they made a change, which I've been calling for on this podcast. Bring in Rishi Dhawan for Shah Rukh Khan and bring in uh, Rajapaksa for Olin Smith, and they've finally done it. And the first game they did that, they won. And Rishi Dhawan picked up a couple wickets. Rajapaksa scored 40. So the trick for all IPL franchises is to listen to this podcast and listen to what I'm saying, and you'll do well. Yeah, it's good to see that they've made that change, and looks like it's working for now.
Yeah. Also, by the way, we didn't mention how abhorrent CSK's fielding has been over the past couple of games. Just just terrible. Uh, the guy got
Yeah, I
catch.
mean,
The guy got catch wasn't. I mean, it was a difficult catch. The Sandler one definitely should have been taken. You can't drop that too. We dropped Dhawan. We dropped Shikhar Dhawan, who went on to how much did he go on to score? He went on to score some 88 runs. Jesus Christ.
yeah, Shikhar Dhawan, I want to talk about that innings a bit because it was the perfect paced innings, and while it was in a T20 match, it actually shows why he's such a great ODI batsman and like one of the all-time greats. It was just a really good innings. He scored 88 off 60 balls, and the strike rate was around 149 or 150 or something like that. But it was actually really well paced because it was like a two-paced wicket. It was really tough for a batsman to bat on, and and he like actually showed a masterclass on how to play how to play on that wicket. Um, 1 second. Yeah. So yeah, so the pitch required like a lot of skill, actually, like pure skill to get through, because even like out of all the batsmen, only Raidu was the one who was able to score well. You couldn't just power the ball through, you had to maneuver it around the field, and that's what he does so great, and something he does often in ODIs during that 10 to 40 10 to 40 over period. He maneuvers the ball around the fielders, takes ones and twos, and like there should be no doubt on his place in the ODI team, because he just showed a masterclass of ODI batting in the T20 format right now, and it worked for his team because uh, I think without that Dhawan innings, CSK could have chased down the score.
Yeah, I mean, what you said about maneuvering the balls, it wasn't coming onto the bat at all. He had to be cheeky a lot of the times. He had to play behind square of the wicket. He had to do a lot of things in order to keep the Punjab run flow. Like Punjab barely lost any wickets, but still they were only able to score like 170, 180, and that was with a large push at the end. And it just shows you, it's a testament to how bad the wicket was, that Dhawan was able, and that Dhawan was able to
And with
score
Dhawan,
so much. Sorry.
yeah, and with Dhawan coming back in form, and even Rohit showing glimpses of what he can do in the last match, and like that legendary like four pair batsmen for India. Three of them have come back in form. Now we're just waiting for someone named Virat Kohli to to show what he can do. And on that note, we'll move to RCB. He's got two
Oh
golden
boy.
ducks in a row. Um, One of India's greatest batsmen has got two golden ducks in a row, and yeah, it's not a great look for him.
Yeah, it's not. Um, he's been really he's been a pretty terrible batsman of late. Two what's that? 2 years without a century, I believe. At this point.
Yeah, he's been really unlucky actually. If you look at the statistics on ESPN Cricket Info, but at like his projected wickets and like how many times he actually got out, he's been really unlucky compared to many other batsmen. But but it's not great to see because he's been unlucky, but he's also not looked the same batsman that he was in like 2019 per se.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Um, like especially of late, the 68 game was a game for Virat to sort of, if he hadn't gotten out first ball, it would have been a fantastic way to like game to come back into form. The rest of the batsmen obviously struggled, except DK, who was a little bit unlucky with his
Yeah, yeah, he's. That's the only way you can get DK
yeah,
out this
exactly.
season. I mean, pure luck, pure luck.
Yeah. So DK got unlucky there, but if Virat had stayed and just even one more ball and seen the situation, that no one was able to bat, he could have just stayed there, been solid. He wouldn't have to score a lot of runs per se. Just stay in there. RCB gets like a 140, 145 total, and they're in the game, and so that's all they would have needed to sort of have a fighting chance. But then he fell, and so did everyone else in the team. So yeah, overall, pretty pathetic
Yeah,
showing
I
from
mean,
RCB.
they got
Back to
out
their
like
old ways. What can I
all.
say? Old habits die hard.
Yeah, 60 something all out. I mean,
68.
you've got the mandatory performance that RCB gives every year where they get all out for a low score. They have to do that every year,
Yeah,
and
and it was so low that my sister told me that she doesn't watch cricket at all, and when she one of her friends showed her the scorecard, and she thought that she didn't understand how to read cricket, because she thought that she was like, usually you guys talk about it in triple figures, and there was 68 all out. This is real, by the way. I'm not just making this up to roast RCB. They were so bad that they made someone who doesn't watch cricket think they don't know how to read. So yeah,
wow.
pretty terrible showing from RCB.
Yeah, so that's what we expect from RCB.
We were
But
waiting for it
like
to
on a
happen.
more
It was gonna happen.
yeah, and on a more serious note, what should they change? Because Anuj Rawat, as I said for weeks on this podcast, um, from and you've been arguing with me, but I don't think you can anymore. He's pretty useless. He needs to go. Um, and ideally, I think they would like to bring Finn Allen in because he's an explosive top order batsman, but that'll be tough to do considering they have four overseas. And another downside of making Faf captain, so they have Faf, Hasaranga, Hazelwood, and Maxwell. Maxwell plays every game, he has to. Faf plays every game, he has to. Hazelwood's been doing really well. He after he joined CSK, which he has to play every game now. Hasaranga had a good start, but last few games he's been a big letdown with the ball, and with the bat he just hasn't showed up this whole season. Uh,
I mean,
so
to be fair
maybe
to
a
him,
few
they're
more.
not really they're not really playing him with the bat. They're sending him like eight down, so he doesn't really have much to
Yeah,
do.
but RCB's batting has failed, so he's come in by like the 16th over
That's
as
true.
a finisher when that's his job. But his bowling's been let down the past few games. Maybe a few more failures, and then they can think of bringing someone like a Karn Sharma in, who does a similar role, and then you have an overseas slot free, so you can bring Finn Allen in the top.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to stick with Hasranga. So maybe Kohli opens and they bring in someone like a Mahipal Lomror, another left-hander, to round off the top three. So those are potential fixes for RCB in the
Yeah, I
next
mean,
season.
and the best fix would be to drop Kohli entirely, but that's not gonna happen. That's not a realistic fix. But I hope it
Yeah, yeah.
happens, but it won't.
But
And I'm not
yeah,
just saying
I
that.
mean,
I'm not just saying this to be like a Kohli basher. Okay, I really like Kohli. I've always okay. I wouldn't say I always liked him. For the past few years, or the past like 3 to 4 years, I've liked Kohli. Um, I think it would be good for him as well if he just takes a break. Uh,
yeah, I think it'll be good for him if he takes a break, but I don't think IPL is the time to do it. After the IPL, we have a series against South Africa and Ireland in June. So after the IPL, you have a 1 month period before the England Test match, where there are 8 Team India games, but I don't think he needs to play them. I think he should just take a break.
yeah, I mean, if there's anything we need Kohli for, it's for that Ireland series. That's what I've always said.
Yeah, yeah,
The Ireland
yeah,
series is
yeah.
gonna be tough without without a performing Virat Kohli.
Yeah, and that's the kind of analysis you get on around the wicket. Kohli should definitely play the Ireland series. Um, Without him, we stand no chance
Yeah,
against the
yeah,
mighty uh, Irish. And that's a good note to end the RCB section. Let's move on to MI. 8 losses in a row. Now, this is the first time in IPL history that's happened. Incidentally, uh, because I watch every cricket match ever, I was watching the Pakistan Super League and Karachi Kings, which and Karachi Kings lost 8 matches in a row, their first eight matches in a row. And the captain for Karachi Kings was Babar Azam, the Pakistan national captain. So Pakistan and India's national captains have lost 8 matches in a row in their respective franchise tournaments. And this is no dig at them because clearly they're captains for a reason. But it puts them in a disadvantage in terms of
Oh man,
matches in
your
IPL.
net dipped again.
But
Your net dipped. Your net dipped.
yeah,
Yeah,
so we'll focus on MI because we're talking about the IPL.
dude,
But
that's such a missed
8 losses in a
opportunity.
row for Mumbai Indians.
That's such a missed opportunity, by the way. Because if Kohli had just remained the captain for a few more months, you would have seen an RCB with 8 straight losses. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, that would have been yeah,
But
fantastic for us.
yeah,
I don't think Om would have appreciated that too much, but
I don't
who
think.
cares about Om? He's not here. Um, yeah, 8 losses for MI. Ishan has been horrible. Last match, 8 runs, 20 balls. He's just been in some awful form. Like I can't even. I feel bad saying this, but like it's really bad form. Hopefully he gets back in touch soon. But bad form. Rohit actually in his last game, he was playing beautifully. 39 and 31 balls, I know, but if you actually watched his innings, he was playing beautifully. And even though he's had low scores, he's always looked good. He unlike Kohli, who's just looked out of place. Rohit's looked good, and I think we'll see a good Rohit uh, throughout this tournament and by the time the T20 World Cup comes. But Ishan Kishan, I think just like Kohli, he needs a break. Put him on the bench. Even in IPL 2021, he was having a bad time in UAE. They put him on the bench. He came back last 2 matches, 50s and 20 balls. So he needs a break. But yeah, but that team is just not it, man.
Nah, man. I I think I mentioned this last week as well. The only time I've ever wanted MI to do well, man, and they're getting absolutely destroyed. Can't they? I wish they would have gotten this badly battered any other season. Literally any other season of the IPL, I would have wanted them to get battered this badly. They're just doing so badly. Uh, Brevis, obviously, we all love him, baby. But in like the past like 2 to 3 matches, he comes in, tries to hit, and fails. That's pretty much it. And I understand that's what he's put there to do. He's put there to come in and score quick runs for MI.
Yeah, I mean, you can see he's clearly talented.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, we've seen him now. He's doing well. I don't think it's necessarily the best message for to drop a talented youngster, but I think they need to find some way. I don't care who you need to drop, but you need to find some way to get Tim David in. You got to give him more than 2 games, man. Come on, he can
yeah,
make a
no,
massive impact.
yeah.
I
Obviously,
mean,
Rayan talked
another
about.
example I'll give you. I don't know why I know this stat, but I do. His and you won't like me saying this, but his batting impact, which is calculated by CricViz, in the PSL was plus 9.7. I mean, that's massive. Like that's an insane batting impact to have, and I think you just gotta give him a go.
Yeah, I mean, Rayan just listed off three things that nobody knows what nobody interacts with, and quick whiz, the batting impact, and obviously the PSL, which I don't think the owner of the Karachi Cannibals or whatever they're called, Karachi Carrots, I don't know, whatever he doesn't watch the PSL games. He's probably tuning in to IPL though, and that's also why we don't do PSL recaps because nobody cares. But yeah, we
Okay,
need to bring back Tim
yeah,
David.
but
We've
you
talked
you got
about
to get Tim David in.
yeah, we've talked about like like how much we like him. He can hit a long ball. as we've talked about. And so yeah, we need to get him back in
Yeah,
the team.
and one last thing I need to point out: there's another Indian player who I think should get his debut cap for Mumbai now. He's a left arm pacer. He can swing the ball a bit, and he bats a bit too. Um, he goes by the name Arjun Tendulkar. I think it's time for Arjun Tendulkar to debut. I mean, they've lost 8 in a row. What are they gonna do? Just give him a go. See how he does. Um, yeah, I mean, if they're looking for the future with Tilak Varma, uh, Dual Brevis, Ishan Kishan, get in Arjun Tendulkar. I want to see him get a game.
Om
And
needs to
I
walk
want
out.
him, and
To
I
walk
want him
out
to
on
do
the
well
podcast
purely
right
for
now.
the fact that I want to troll him. I want Arjun to do well just so that I can troll him.
That's what I said. If Om was here, he would have walked out on the podcast. He's obviously a huge Arjun Tendulkar hater, as we've discussed multiple times. As we talked about on our IPL auction review, which is on Anchor, not Anchor, on Spotify. You guys know. Check that out. Yeah, okay, that's it. I thought there was some more of a segue there. That's it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
Oh,
that's it.
speaking of segues, I'm gonna make this very smooth segue. The
Bro, your net dipped.
so
Can you
that
re-segue
was
that?
my transition, by the way.
Can you do the segue again? Your net dipped. Oh no, we're losing him.
Shit.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
hear me?
yeah. Wait. Just give it like 30 seconds.
Uh,
Give it 30 seconds. Your net is still dead. Hold on. Okay, I can
can you hear me?
I can see you moving around in like 120p. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This the segue. Okay. We are gonna talk about LSG now. KL Rahul scored his second 100, and both against MI. His record against MI is insane now. 80 average, something striking at like 140, 300s, 200 against MI in the same season. It's pretty insane. I think the last time this was done was against Gujarat Lions and he scored 200. There's some insane batting from Lokesh Rahul. Unfortunate that he only plays his A game against Mumbai Indians, and the rest of the time he plays like Babar Azam, in which I mean he strikes at 100 uh, per ball. But
Yeah.
yeah, thoughts on another KL Rahul masterclass against Mumbai Indians?
Yeah, did you say 100 per ball, by the way?
100 strike rate.
Okay. I thought you said he strikes at 100 per ball, and I was like, okay, that's nice. Either way, yeah, KL Rahul obviously hit 103, I believe. A very solid innings from Lucknow. I mean, there's not
Second
much to
100 were
add.
both 103.
Sorry.
Both of his hundreds were 103.
Yeah. Uh, Lucknow's batting is obviously very good. We talked about how um, Lucknow's from the beginning. We talked about we thought Lucknow's batting was one of the best and definitely the better of the two new teams between which are Lucknow and Gujarat. And yeah, they even gave Stoinis a chance once again. And as we talked about last week, he where he didn't perform, he continued uh, he continued not to perform. So that was a disappointment for us Stoinis fans. And yeah, and KL Rahul, he scored 103, and the entire team only scored like 168, which just shows his
Yeah,
contribution.
it was a bad batting performance. They only won that game because MI were the team they were facing, and MI sucks.
Yeah. It was a bad showing from them, and MI took it towards the end way too slowly. With Tilak Verma and Kyron Pollard, they really needed to accelerate much earlier, but they didn't. They just didn't accelerate, which was it was disappointing because I mean I'm not gonna say they were in that game because it was pretty difficult, but they stayed out of it, and they weren't even actively trying to re-enter it. They were trying to take it as deep as possible, trying to do an MSD, but they failed because the MSD wasn't there. It was Tilak Verma and Kyron Pollard. So 1000 L. They should have accelerated a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and another incident that I want to talk about that happened in that game was so obviously Pollard took Krunal Pandya in the first innings. In the second innings, after they had just lost the game and Krunal Pandya just took Pollard's wicket, he jumps on his back and kisses him on the head. Um, I think that wasn't the right moment to kiss someone on the head after they've just lost the game, and you've just taken their wicket. Maybe not the appropriate moment.
Yeah, yeah. Just maybe that too. Someone like Kyron Pollard, man can probably throw
Yeah, I mean, he's
throw
lucky
Kunal
Pollard
across the
didn't like slap
stadium.
him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What is it? He could have. There could have
Yeah,
been
a
bad
bit
consequences.
inappropriate then. Not the moment. Bit awkward for us viewers
Yeah.
and for Pollard also probably. But yeah, Krunal Pandya does that a lot.
Does he?
Um,
Oh, I think.
okay, now let's move on to the team without the
Mate,
4 losses in a row. Um,
uh,
what?
you're breaking up.
Yeah,
Can you
four.
can you
Yeah,
fix
okay.
your Wi-Fi? Oh wait, no. Okay, you're better now. Let's go. You're finally HD-ish. Okay, talk.
Okay, so Kolkata Knight Riders, the team which I support, we've just lost 4 in a row.
Hell,
This is disappointing stuff. I must say disappointing stuff. I was there for their most recent loss, and it was terrible because we just our bowling was good. We got in Saudi for Pat Cummins, and Saudi took like 3 wickets again. He's been on a roll, 8 wickets in 3 matches. Um, Upgrade over Cummins, I must say, even though Cummins won us a game, but but he's been disappointing with the ball, and Saudi's just been brilliant. Um, and 4 straight losses. I just don't think we had a great combination doesn't work, especially with what Baz McCullum's style is. His style is just go hit, hit, hit.
hmm.
The England style, the New Zealand style in the 2015 World Cup, and we just don't have the players for that. So I think it was bad auction strategy. Our squad is not balanced. I still think there's a chance to get through to the playoffs. I think we're capable enough for that. We're not like as bad as Mumbai or Chennai, but bad auction. I think half of these players are going to get released, and we're going to have a revamped squad for next year. But again, Andre Russell's carrying us as he's been doing for the last 10 years.
Yeah, and
Bounce
Narayan was obviously pushed to opening, which
I'm my favorite cricketer. I
yeah,
love Rinku Singh fan club, and I'm the only member of it. But uh, what a legend! I love that man. Um,
yeah, and
yeah. But we had a few team changes in the last game. Aaron Finch hit 50 in the previous game. He was dropped in favor of Sam Billings, who's brought in to open this time, and they replaced Sheldon Jackson with Rinku Singh. So I don't really understand that. Maybe there was a nigger, but why would you drop Aaron Finch right after he scored a really good 50?
yeah,
So what are your thoughts?
that was they should first of all we were our requests once again. I'm convinced that every IPL team watches us, and so should you guys who are watching right now. Because if IPL teams do it, you should as well. But they push Narayan to the front of the order, which I mean it's a pretty common sense thing to be honest. But if they're not gonna play Aaron Finch, which they should, Aaron Finch and Narayan would be a great opening partnership. But if not, I would love to see Venkatesh Iyer up there with Narayan. That would be really interesting to see. I wanted Venkatesh Iyer to be the opener from the beginning, which we talked about in the pre-IPL thing, like post auction. I told you all.
He was opening for most matches, but then he failed, so they pushed him down to his team India role.
Yeah, but from the beginning, I said that the Rahane opening thing wasn't gonna work, and Narayan and Iyer would be awesome. We should play Iyer in more of his. I mean, he hasn't been doing really well in either of his roles. It's not like he started playing very well in with his.
Yeah, I'm not sure Narayan and Venki opening because they're both left-handers, but but but
I
Finch
mean,
and Narayan would be good.
I mean, left right combination, sure, but I think they're just better. it'll be much more interesting to see if Venki will sort of play a more stabilizing role, and Narayan will play like Sunil Narayan plays.
Yeah. So that's KKR. They've just been confusing. But we'll move on to Gujarat. That's the team they last played, and Gujarat have won all but one match. They've been really consistent. Uh, Rashid Khan bowled really well. He won the man of the match. Killer Miller, after that 95, has had a few cameos where he's done well for them as a finisher. Um, they're just looking solid. One thing to note is Hardik Pandya in his last match against KKR didn't bowl. He obviously missed the previous one due to injury, and he didn't bowl. So that might be a slight cause for concern, but I think it's a good thing that he isn't overstressing himself by bowling. I think he only bowls if it's necessary, and even then, like 2 overs. He's been bowling well, but you don't want to hurt that back.
Yeah, yeah. There are a few things with Gujarat. Firstly, I mean, in the past game, obviously we can talk about against KKR, but even in the game before that, Shubman Gill hasn't been able to recreate the magic of the early IPL games 2 and 3.
I
Particularly,
know the reason why Shubman Gill isn't doing that.
why is that?
So one of my friends, he keeps making fantasy teams, and whoever he picks, they always fail. And he's not picked Shubman Gill twice, and those two times Shubman Gill almost scored hundreds. Every other time he failed. So he's
Yeah.
the root of all IPL team problems right now.
Okay, this is understandable. In my experience with him, he's the root of all non IPL problems as well. He's just the root of uh, problems, just in general. But yeah, I guess that's a pretty valid reason. Apart from that, you know, they brought in Saha. He's okay. I mean, I hope they continue to play him because he has a lot of
I
potential.
still think they should bring in Ramullah Gurbaz, the free stroking Afghanistan wicketkeeper opener. He's a beast, a high strike rate, really good. They can take him in for Alzari Joseph.
No, I don't think they'll drop Alzari Joseph as yet. Obviously, man had a beast that one bowling performance a couple of years ago was a bit mad on his part for MI. I believe it was for MI. But yeah,
Yeah, that was in 2016, man.
was it
17,
actually?
17, my bad. 17,
I
17,
thought it was like in 2019, bro.
17. And it's still the it's still the best ever IPL figures.
Oh wow. Oh, we didn't talk about the 4 for 5 from Russell, by the way, in the
Oh
last over.
yeah, that last over, he bowled really well.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I mean, to be
it
fair,
wasn't.
Gujarat was randomly swinging. But
Yeah, it was less him in specific and more just general Gujarat.
yeah, yeah. But yeah,
But yeah, it's
so
pretty much.
that's it for all the IPL teams. One last announcement. I actually watched the Gujarat versus KKR game live in Mumbai, and we'll be having a vlog of that coming out very soon. Should be in the next couple of days, possibly sooner, and that should be exciting to watch for you guys. So make sure to check that out. Last things before we end this, Vivian, performance of the week and performer of the week. Let's hear it.
I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I forgot again. um.
Okay.
Uh, uh, wait, let me think. You go first. I'll think in the meantime.
Okay. So for my performance of the week,
Oh, okay. I
I'm
have a
going to give it
performance.
to yeah, yeah. You go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, performance of the week. I'm gonna drop it to my boy MSD for his contributions with obviously the 16 of 4 game. Uh, we obviously talked about it on this podcast. Very well done, hitting couple boundaries, and that last ball try, especially keeping your cool. It's very easy when it's 4-2 and a one to sort of uh, blindly swing for the fences. But he saw that it was like a very good Yorker on his legs, and he sort of played it. Had to play it well through square leg rather than trying to hit it over long on for six. So MST.
Yeah. Who's your performer of the week?
Oh, all right. There are two. Oh, okay. That was my performance of the week. My performer. of the week is you go ahead with performance, and I'll tell you performance.
So for my performance of the week, I'm going to give it to Rayudu's knock last night. I mean, I just love watching Ambati Rayudu play. He's the type of player who, would have been brilliant to pick at a World Cup, maybe in 2019. And I just love watching him bat. So that was a great knock from him, 70 odd and 38. Good knock. Who's your performer of the week?
Um, I'll give it to your man Tripathi for his mainly for his SRH knock. I don't know if that comes under this jurisdiction. Does it? Does it come under this week?
Uh,
The 70 against SRH against KKR. Sorry.
no, 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 no.
Oh, okay. Then I'll give it to Abhishek Sharma for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not I wouldn't say he. I mean, figures wise, he's obviously not as good as say a Joss Butler. But the thing is, he's been able to single handedly carry the front end of SRH's batting, which the
Yeah, yeah,
onus is all
because
on
Kane
him.
Williamson hasn't been
Exactly.
contributing. So my performer of the week, I'm gonna have to give it to probably T Natarajan. I think he's been bowling brilliantly, all phases of the game, picking up wickets. I just love to see his comeback, and hopefully he's on the flight to Australia. So that's it for this week, guys. Make sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube. Check out our different podcasts through Anchor. Like, subscribe, share, give us
Spotify,
rating.
Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, whatever.
Yeah, all of that good stuff. This is our fourth episode for the IPL. Make sure to catch us next week. I don't think I'll be there next week, but Om and Vivian will be doing it. Om's triumphant return to the podcast will be next week. Can't wait to hear his thoughts on RCB after they fail a few more times. But
Yeah.
that's it for this week, guys. Bye.